Family of 9-year-old Montana Lance. On January 21st, police say Montana committed suicide at his elementary school by hanging himself in one of the bathrooms. Montana left behind his parents and 4-year-old brother, Dooley.
They will miss their playmate, but they also say they can remember times when some of the other kids teased or bullied him.
To understand exactly how this happened, friends and those who knew Montana say he was teased.
He was just bullied too much. He was probably depressed. Some of the things that people say were harsh.
Tragedy. Talk spread quickly that Montana was the victim of bullying.
Most of everybody in school picks on him. Most of them.
Because?
I don't know why, because how he looks.
He says Montana Lance was picked on almost every day and for a number of things.
His hair, his clothes, how he looked, and all that. Like calling him names, calling him cuss words and all that. Okay. And saying, why did you come to school?
He says Montana Lance was picked on almost every day.
I can't change the fact that he's gone, but maybe I can change the fact that maybe another child won't be.
A North Texas family mourning the loss of their son. Educators, lawmakers, and researchers, meanwhile, and students all coming together for one purpose: to put an end to bullying. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Doug Dunbar.
And some of the biggest names in education are in Washington, D.C. right now. They're at a 2-day summit examining the dangers of bullying inside and outside the classroom and how to stop it. Education Secretary Arne Duncan says the harassment undermining learning in schools. But for a North Texas family, the problem costs them so much more. CBS 11's Sana Sayed is in the newsroom with their reaction. Sana?
Well, Debbie and Jason Lance say for 7 months they have been waiting to hear about the details surrounding their son's suicide from the officials at the school where he was found hanged. They say to this day they have not received a single phone call. So they are taking things into their own hands as they wait to see what happens in the nation's capital.
It's one of my favorite pictures.
Debbie Lance can't help but show off her beautiful son.
Why was he the target of bullying? And the only thing I can come up to is the fact that they got a reaction out of him because he so wanted to be loved and so wanted to be liked.
Montana was just 9 years old when he was found in the restroom at Stewart's Creek Elementary last January. He hanged himself with a belt. Lance says she wrote to the school principal before Montana's death to let her know he was being bullied. She says nothing was done.
It goes back to the administration. If they'd stand up and do what's right, then none of this would have happened.
Montana's parents are hoping that issue is addressed at the nation's first bullying summit in Washington, D.C. They want to eventually see a program that makes schools and teachers accountable for not properly addressing bullying.
They don't have anything that forces their hand, and I think with the opening up their accountability to make them liable would cause that.
And do you want to see on the back of my shirt? Right here with it in my bottle.
This picture right here was his kindergarten picture. And
one of Debbie Lance's favorites of her son, Montana.
I remember the day he was born, crying and looking at him going, how did we make something that beautiful?
9-year-old Montana hanged himself in January in the restroom of his elementary school in the Colony. Debbie says he was tormented by other kids and couldn't take it anymore. She and her husband Jason now making it their mission to stop bullying in school.
Kids who get bullied don't feel safe at school. Kids who don't feel safe can't learn.
I know that Montana's got friends in heaven.
Debbie's grateful the problem's getting attention, though no one from the department contacted her or any of the other parents she's joined online.
We all kind of support each other. And
parents who know the pain of having a child take their own life after being bullied. The Lances now educate other moms and dads, and Jason says teachers are critical to the solution.
Not to just pass the buck and say, hey, you're a tattletale, you're a problem child.
Zero tolerance, accountability. For the teachers, for the parents, for the students. The list, like I said, is continually growing.
Debbie says healing is a day-by-day process, but the online community she's now a part of gives her strength to go on.
You know, it's not a club that I want anybody to have to join, but knowing that there are others out there and that my work can help them and that their work can help me gives me a little more reassurance that his death wasn't in vain.
The Lances are in the process of setting up a nonprofit. They hope to one day have a center and hotline for kids, teachers, and parents who need help dealing with bullying. For more,
he was picked on since kindergarten.
Bright eyes, a big smile.
I only wish that he could have heard how many people liked him at the funeral.
A young boy bullied to the point of taking his own life. Montana Lance should be in the 5th grade. Should have celebrated his 10th birthday this year. He didn't. He won't. Montana Lance took his own life at the age of 9.
We know that he's gone, and part of that was due to the bullying from being picked on day in, day out. We call it bullycide.
Bullying began for Montana years before his death. He reached his breaking point one day while sitting in the nurse's office at the school he attended in the colony.
It's clear that bullying is going to continue no matter what, but the response to it and how we react to it has got to be the key that we need to change. The whole kids will be kids, it's just a rite of passage. Well, what are they going to do when they get in the real world? All those comments have got to go out the door.
Brand new father, and I was only 21 the day that I first met my son, and that's a day I will hold forever. And as I held him so tight, and I knew all was right, and my son, born for me, he's a part of my legacy, and he's a part of my